spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of me or me. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dreams. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't really. It ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun. It's an everyday theme. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave is how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god. I lay at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I am not Haram or beef.
Peace. Greetings and welcome back to another one of our BBT, Burning Bush Tabernacle Book Club readings. I'm back again, your host, Noble Moso El, Minister and Mufti of the Burning Bush Tabernacle, Science Temple and School. And I thank everyone for joining us, tapping in on our platform, BBT Science Temple, BBT Book Club. And today is Holy Friday. Thank you for all nobles and empresses who tapped in and join us live. Again, we have a lot of live, gifts. If any new listeners looking for books, looking for literature, PDF books, we offer during our live readings every Friday. With no further ado, this will be the book I'll be touching on today. Is on the Masonic and occult symbols. As we know, in more science and just in life, a lot of things have many symbols. A lot of symbols have meaning, esoteric and exoteric, an inner meaning, a hidden meaning, and a public meaning. And this is a great book I've been diving into, just that we've been studying throughout our tenure here as members of the Burning Bush Tabernacle. Understanding Signs and Symbols. There's even a book that we recommend besides this, Signs and Symbols of Primordial Man by Albert Churchward. We recommend you get that book from us. Again, we are sponsored by mypdfbooks.com, sponsored by burningbushtabernacle.com, sponsored by the Journey to Knowledge of Self podcast, Brian Hicks Bay music, Herbs of Mayat, herbal teas, if you'd like some herbal teas to go with your books, and ALO Design Pros, if you need any AI or design work. So, I mean, we welcome all here to come study with us, build with us. We are a nonprofit and we study ancient texts, religious, spiritual, of all houses, all symbolisms. We understand the heritage and history of the Moors and Masonry, and all occult symbols are just, pious hieroglyphs. And we really welcome all to come study with us and, get this literature so you can read along with us and elevate your wisdom. And as you can see, this book right here is called Masonic and Occult Symbols Illustrated. As you can see, the skull and crossbones, the Ankh, the crescent and the star, the foot with the wings, the lucky rabbit's foot, the peace sign, the dream catcher. So many symbols to study that we use in our everyday life. We might not use as frequently. We might have a lot of symbols that we didn't know the multiple meanings of. Some symbols have, as it states, esoteric and exoteric. which is the inner meaning, or the guarded or secret meaning, and then it's the public meaning. And again, this book is by Dr. Kathy Burns. If you would like this book, reach out to me directly. You can email me at maatsons, MAATSONS, at Gmail. And you can see that on the ticker below. But to begin, this book starts with what is a symbol? What is a symbol? Webster tells us that a symbol is something that stands for or suggests something else by reason of relationship, association, convention, or accidental resemblance, especially a visible sign of something invisible. Emphasis, mine throughout. This is important to know because when we see a symbol, we know that there is a meaning behind what is actually being shown. Since a symbol is a visible sign of something invisible. A related word, symbolism, is the use of the conventional and traditional signs in the representation of divine beings and spirits. It says a related word, symbolism, is the use of conventional or traditional signs in the representation of divine beings and spirits. This too is important because many of these symbols also represent gods and goddesses. Since this book will be covering many occultic and Masonic symbols, a few quotes from Masons about symbolism would be in order. Masonic author George H. Steinmetz shares the following. The symbols are not used in the commonly accepted meaning. It is not by exact resemblance. There is a more recondite meaning, occult or esoteric interpretations, as we suspected. It is one of suggestions or association in thought. There is a secret doctrine in Freemasonry. That secret doctrine is concealed rather than revealed by the very lectures which we are told offer a rational explanation of the ceremonies of initiation. If we were to accept these rational explanations as final and seek no further, Freemasonry would be a farce. Carl Claudy, a Masonic writer, mentions that there are secrets inside secrets in symbolism. He wrote, "Cut through the outer shell and find a meaning. Cut through that meaning and find another. Under it, if you dig deep enough, you may find a third, a fourth. Who shall say how many teachings?" In an Eastern Star book, we are told a symbol is a figure of something intellectual, moral, or spiritual, a visible object, representing to the mind the semblance of something which is not shown, but realized by association with it. Albert Mackey, a well-known Mason, writes that a symbol is a sensible image used to express an occult but analogical signification. And we know occult just means secret or hidden. Another book reminds us that an emblem is a figure or symbol which stands for something else. We are also told that there is a hidden meaning to these symbols. So what is presented to the candidate is not what is really meant. Eastern Star writer Mary Ann Slipper states that everyone who becomes a member of the Order of the Eastern Star should be familiar with the esoteric meaning of every symbol used in the work. One short talk bulletin, which was supposed to be read in the lodge, says, "It may be asserted in the broadest terms that the Freemason who knows nothing of our symbolism knows little of Freemasonry. He may be able to repeat every line of the ritual without an error. Yet if he does not understand the meaning of the ceremonies, the signs, the words, the emblems, and figures, he is a Masonic ignoramus." And so that just goes to show, just because you wear certain symbols, you might wear certain numbers or pendants, you have to know the deeper meaning of them, or you're just as ignorant as the person who has no idea what they mean at all. And here at the BBT, that's one thing we study. We study signs and symbols. We study numerology, astrology, hieroglyphs, different languages. All these symbols can be used and have many meanings. Throughout this book, we will be looking at numerous symbols, and we will discover some of the hidden meanings behind these symbols. We will also see how various symbols represent pagan gods and goddesses. Additionally, we learn how many emblems concealed and shroud sexual connotations under the guise of symbolism. Charles G. Berger explains, "At first, in art, the sex organs were represented by pictures of them. But as man developed and ideas of morals changed, such representations seemed offensive or crude, and they were therefore gradually modified until the symbols could scarcely be recognized as sexual in origin. Other explanations and meanings were invented for the masses, who were not supposed to understand the true meaning. Thus, symbols came to have two meanings, the esoteric and the exoteric. The esoteric meaning was the true or original meaning, understood by only a few and closely guarded by them. The exoteric meaning was the invented or modified explanation intended for the many. The sacred mysteries, which are often mentioned in connection with many ancient religions and which were closely guarded by the initiate, concerned exoteric meanings in the religions of previous times. These sacred mysteries very often were merely continuations of the simpler forms of early sex worship carried on by a select few. The migration of symbols also states, without doubt, the symbols that have attracted the highest degree of veneration of the multitude have been the representative signs of gods, often uncouth and indecent. And you can see here this illustration, which seems to be somewhat of a image of the feast. But it says, "Is this really the way we want him? No longer King of Kings and Lord of Lords, but just another guest at the table?" And that was an image of the Last Supper. Since the sexual nature of many symbols is now concealed under the other guise, the average person no longer realizes the vulgarity behind many of them. Many organizations, however, use particular symbols as logos intentionally, knowingly, precisely what is being represented thereby. Multitudes of occultists, New Agers, witches, and Satanists understand the meanings of the symbols they use. On the other hand, many people are using these same symbols or variations of them today without knowing what they really represent. Hopefully, this book will show numerous symbols and explain the esoteric meaning of many of them so that the average person can be more aware of what is being portrayed behind some of the emblems being used. We must remember that even though many leaders are aware of symbolism or symbology, not everyone who uses their symbols in their logos are familiar with the pagan connotations behind them. For example, we cannot just assume that everyone who wears a pentagram is evil and knows that this emblem is used extensively in Satanism and witchcraft. Many people do not know this, and they innocently wear satanic and pagan symbols. We must be careful not to accuse everyone who uses these symbols as being an occultist or New Ager. Of course, if we know that a particular group is an occultic association, then the symbol that they use should not be taken lightly. Many of the people who design the logos know exactly what they are doing. We will cover many of these logos in the book and give their own explanation about the particular meaning behind the design selected. And even the word pagan, the word pagan has been used derogatorily, in a negative connotation. But pagan can just be something that is not religious. It could be something that people did natural in a natural time. So it's all these words that we use have a duality and have a deeper meaning than the one we use casually every day. It's like connotation and denotation of words. Words have changed meanings over years, over centuries, over decades. But some people try to make some of the occult symbols into Christian symbols, such as saying that the pentagram represents the 5 wounds of Christ, or that the triangle is a symbol of the Trinity. We cannot do this, for the Bible says in Deuteronomy 4:15 through 19 and 23, "Take ye therefore good heed unto yourself, For ye saw no manner of similitude on the day that the Lord spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire, lest ye corrupt yourself and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. Unless thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. Take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of the Lord your God, which he made with you, and make you a graven image or the likeness of anything which the Lord thy God hath forbidden thee. God does not want us to make any image of him in any way. For as much then as we are the offspring of God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold or silver or stone, graven by art and man's device. And that's Acts 17:29. When the Israelites went into pagan nations, the Lord instructed them to overthrow their altars and break their pillars and burn their groves with fire. And ye shall hew down the graven images of their gods and destroy the names of them out of that place. Ye shall not do so unto the Lord your God. That's Deuteronomy 12:3-4. Deuteronomy 7:25-26 says, the graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them, nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein. For it is an abomination to the Lord thy God. Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it. But thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing. Although there are numerous symbols given throughout this book, this is definitely not an exhaustive itemization. Many other symbols could have been included, but because of time and space considerations, they were left out. The symbols included here, however, should give you a good start in being able to identify the many occultic logos that are appearing today. First is the yin yang symbol. The yin yang symbol can be seen almost any place one looks. It is used in logos, on book covers, in the New Age movement, in the martial arts, and so forth. Yin yang are considered to be opposites. Yin represents eternity, dark, feminine, left side of the body, etc. Yang is its opposite and represents history, light, masculine, and the right side of the body. Yang is male, positive, and represented by the sun. Yin is female, negative, and represented by the moon. Says Paul E. de Saltes in the Gem Kingdom. And here's a traditional symbol of the yin yang. The symbol itself dates back to at least the 4th century BC and has been identified with the Eastern philosophical religions of Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. In the Western world, it has long been adopted into the symbolism of myth, magic, astrology, and witchcraft. And one thing I'll note as well, if you really look at the symbol, it really looks like 2 fish, a white fish with the black dot, and another fish, black fish with the white eye dot. Now, in a book, Black Magic, White Magic explains the yin yang like this. Another ancient magical sign called the yin yang first appeared sometime before the 3rd century BC in China. This emblem became a favorite of sorcerers and mystics throughout the Orient because it too embodies so many possible meanings. One well-known witch, Sybil Leek, who is called the mistress of the occult, proclaims that the yin-yang theory is an idea that inspired such things as Chinese boxing, breath control, used in yoga, meditation, and etc., etc. The use of special herbs and some rather erotic sexual exercises designed to nourish the yang with the yin. She adds, crucial to Taoism is the idea of yin-yang. According to the ancient Chinese philosophers, in the beginning was Tao, but then Tao separated into 2 prime principles, yang and yin, and from the many combinations of yang and yin, everything else that is in the world has emerged. Yang and yin produce the 5 elements, which are metal, wood, fire, water, and earth. Everything in life is in a constant state of flux. In fact, the only thing you can be sure of is that it will change. Another book states, the yang and yin symbol is one of the easiest to recognize and understand. It represents the 2 opposites, conflicting forces, found in every action and are responsible for the dynamic universe. The yang and yin operate in the universe primarily through the agency of the 5 elements, Earth, Saturn, water, Mercury, metal, Venus, wood, Jupiter, and fire, Mars. These elements, under the guidance of the 5 planets, form, with the sun and moon, the 7 rulers. Each of the elements may also be yang or yin, so that combinations of all these could produce broad number possibilities and astrological alternatives. Each, of course, has its symbol, which can be and often was incised into jade. The concept of yin and yang, also called Tai Gi Tu, likewise plays an important role in many other occult practices. For instance, in the Dictionary of Mysticism, states the following about the practice of Shu Shu. Shu Shu, the ancient Chinese system of magic, divination, and occult practices, including astrology, dream interpretation, the art of coordinating human affairs by the active and passive principles of the universe, yin yang, and the five elements, wu hexing. Fortune telling by the use of the stalks of the divination plant and the tortoise shell, and miscellaneous methods such as dream interpretation, the regulation of forms and shapes of buildings, and much more. Of course, many of the Chinese exercises, medical practices, etc., are also based on the theory of yin and yang. In health, a holistic approach, we find the techniques of acupuncture, acupressure, and moxibustion apply needle, pressure, or thermal heat, stimulation, respectively, to the meridian points to affect and change in the orderly flow of qi through the meridians. This treatment helps to reestablish the yin-yang balance by initiating normal energy flow in stagnant meridians. The choice of meridian points to be stimulated is arrived at by using specific laws derived directly from the five-element theory and knowing the order of qi distribution in the meridians. The five-element theory is the practical, tangible application of the complementary opposites, yin and yang. The Chinese system of physiotherapy or therapeutic exercises is represented primarily in the practice of Tao Chi Quan, which is a system of exercises performed in close coordination with regulated breathing. The exercises are comprised of 37 movement patterns, the composition of which is regulated by the principles of yin and yang. The Chinese system of physiotherapy or therapeutic exercises is represented primarily in the practice of Tai Chi Quan, which is a system of exercises performed in close coordination with regulated breath or breathing. The exercises are comprised of 37 movement patterns, the composition of which is regulated by the principles of yin and yang. The philosophy of Tai Chi Chuan is rooted in Taoism, which advocates natural effort, and in the I Ching, or Book of Changes. The movements and inner teachings are derived from the complementary relationships between yin and yang, two fundamental forces that create the harmonizing and universe by their interactions. The interaction of yin and yang is vital to the practice of Tai Chi Chuan. since physically and mentally the practitioner is continually shifting between empty and full and soft and hard to achieve a proper and evolving equilibrium. In fact, Tai Chi came to be represented by the circle divided into the light, the dark, yang, and yin. Other interrelated techniques dependent upon yin and yang are the zone therapy, polarity therapy, macrobiotics, shiatsu, jin shin, do in, the martial arts such as kung fu, qigong, karate, and tai chi. Palmistry, the occult practice of foretelling the future by reading the hands, is also based on the theory of yin and yang and the five elements. In another occult book, The Chinese Art of Healing, written by a Buddhist monk, the author explains how the ancients relate massage, which includes reflexology, to the five elements and to palmistry. He states, the thumb, for example, was associated with the spleen, which belonged to the earth element. The index finger, with the large intestine, represents the metal element, and so on and so on. The form of massage, known as from the water element to the earth element, reminds us of occult concepts of this kind. According to the Oriental magicians, the palm of the hand contains the secrets of life. There was also an ancient Chinese school of thought which maintained that the palm of the hand was a replica of yin yang and could provide information about illness and good health and one's entire fate. So this is clearly showing, nobles and empresses and all listening, that a lot of these ancient techniques have a through line. They all have a connection, whether it be yoga, reflexology, acupuncture, kung fu, karate. They all use these ancient elements of the yin and yang. For more information on reflexology, see the booklet entitled Hidden Dangers of Reflexology. It can be obtained through sharing by writing to the address on the back of the book. Masonry also uses the concept of yin-yang in their symbolism, but it is in a disguised form. Albert Pike states that the black and white pavement symbolized the good and evil principles of the Egyptian and Persian creed. Makes me think about the checkerboard or the chessboard, which is black and white. It is the warfare of Michael and Satan, of the gods and titans, of Baldir and Lok, between light and shadow, which is darkness, day, and night, freedom and despotism. Masons also use the two triangles to represent this idea of opposites. In the Short Talk Bulletin, a pamphlet which is to be read in the lodges, we are told that the triangles are symbolic of good and evil, day and night, the Chinese yang and yin. The two triangles joined together to form a hexagram indicate sexual union. This same viewpoint is also associated with the yin yang. In our phallic heritage, we are told. But since union of the sexes is necessary to produce offspring, both sexes were represented in most religions. In the crudest form of worship, representation of the genitalia of both sexes, or of the sex organs in union, were worshipped. Such was the worship of the phallus in Greece and Egypt, the lingam and yoni, the phallus and ketis in Greece and Egypt, the lingam and yoni in India, the Masabashir of Syria, the Yoseki and Inseki in Japan, the yang and yin in China, the Baal and the Peor of the Canaanites in the Bible. All male and female duality, symbolism, just different names, different languages. Masonic author George Oliver states, thus the monad and the duad were the phallus and the ketis of the Greeks, the lingam and the yoni of the Hindus, the woden and the friga of the Goths, the yang and yin of the Chinese, and indeed of the creative and destructive powers every country under heaven. This thought is reiterated in myths and symbols in Indian art and civilizations. The lingam and yoni, Shiva and his goddesses, symbolize the antagonistic yet cooperating forces of the sexes. Their sacred marriage, in Greek, hieros gamos, is multifariously figured in the various traditions of world mythology. They are the archetypal parents, father and mother of the world, themselves the firstborn of the pairs of opposites, first bifurcation of the primal cosmogonic, reality, now reunited in productive harmony, under the form of the Father Heaven and the Mother Earth. They were known to the Greeks as Zeus and Hera, Uranus and Gaia, to the Chinese as Tian and Tai, Yang and Yin. One catalog that sells statues of gods and goddesses as well as many other occult items states, at once, the most sacred and the most mysterious path to higher consciousness, Tantra refers to the divine union of opposites. Taoists refer to these energies as yin, from yoni, the active principle, and yang, the recumbent principle. Since there is some yin female in the yang male, which is represented by the little dot, and some yang in the yin, the concept of bisexuality is also symbolized. Charles Berger remarks, sometimes efforts were made to make gods bisexual. Hermaphrodite is the best example of this. He was the son of Hermes and Aphrodite, and embraced Salamanco, a nymph who called upon the gods to make them inseparable. The gods heard the plea and formed of the two a perfect being who possessed the characteristics of both sexes. From this mythical being comes the term hermaphrodite. Omphale was a queen of Lydia and the task mistress of Hercules. She is represented with a lion's skin and a club, male symbols, while Hercules wears her gown and spins for her. Omphale is thus represented as double-sexed, as is Hercules by his dress and his work. The name Omphale is a bisexual name, coming from Om, the universal mother, and from phallus, the male organ. Like Janus of the Greeks, not only had opposite faces, but was double-sexed or hermaphroditic. And this is an image of Janus, the two-faced god. The New Age movement looks favorably on homosexuality. In fact, in alchemy, the androgyne, meaning male and female in one body, was considered to be the image of human perfection and wholeness. By some ancient traditions, the original and perfect form of the human being, a fashionable look among some celebrities. Blin, Ni, and Jung tells us that each individual must achieve intermarriage of their masculine and feminine natures to encounter true equipoise. So it's telling you, you learn from these symbols to master your masculine and master your feminine duality, not being overwhelmed by one. In this book, it continues to go into the yin yang, the unity and the integration, the integration or polarity that holds that a person is born with both masculine and feminine traits. A man supposedly could have been a man 250 times and a woman 250 times in previous incarnations, and the memory of those past life experiences are said to remain as indelible traces of consciousness. Thus, we are each a combination of male and female, masculine and feminine. The New Age encourages children and adults to appreciate and practice the harmony of opposites, teaching the individual to merge the two selves, man and woman. Many gods and goddesses of paganism are shown to have dual sex natures. Mercury, called the male-female, was an androgyne. Even much symbolism contains the dual nature. So as you all can see, a lot of this duality, yin yang, has a lot to do with the male and female energy, the masculine and feminine, the light and the dark. It's all duality. It's all balance. And I'm not going to read all of this because we are getting down in time. But just to show you all some more symbols, I encourage everyone to, check us out at BBT Science Temple and School. If you like this book or any other books, I really encourage you all to come check us out. I'm just looking for, you can go to mypdfbooks.com, one of our many book sponsors. We have a plethora of topics from the occult, masonry, religion, spirituality, all houses. We are welcome. We have so many topics for you to choose from. If you would like a physical copy of any of these books, go to our sister company, bindedbooks.com, where treasures are bound. And we can send you a physical copy of this book or any other topic. If you'd like any herbal teas to go with your books, we are sponsored by herbsofmayat.com, Mayat Sons on Instagram. Need any cultural regalia, fezzes, turbans, kufis, suits, dress shoes, boots, coats? Check out MoorishHaberdasher.com. If you would like any Moorish drip inspired by the Renaissance, check out Moorsachi.com. And if you're looking for any web development, go to ALOdesignpros.com and get your website built correctly. And last but not least, our musical house is BHB Music, Brian Hicks Bay Music. Check out his mixtape and album, Transportation of Raw Materials. And again, we welcome you every Saturday and Sunday. We are the Burning Bush Tabernacle, Science Temple and School, book club every Friday, classes every Saturday and Sunday. We welcome all light seekers from all houses, no matter what your background. We welcome all. It's a safe space for study, learning, enlightenment. These are some of them study materials you would need, and we can get these books to you, PDF or hard copy. Last but not least, check out Journey to Knowledge of Self, our podcast on YouTube and Facebook. You can learn more about our journey in this brotherhood and sisterhood and the founders and what got us all to this point. It's a great podcast you want to check out. And again, look at this bottom ticker, BBT Science Temple and School, classes every Saturday and Sunday. And we really welcome you all to come tap in and study with us. Get these books, get this literature, get your library right. And with no further ado, I thank you all for joining me here on the BBT Book Club. It's been an honor and a pleasure. And I look forward to you all tapping in and checking us out Saturday and Sunday. We work out at 12 noon, and then we have adept class, and then we have Sunday school on Sunday, and we work out at 12 noon Eastern time as well. No further ado.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of meager meaning. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dream. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't really. It ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun. It's an everyday theme. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Live